Minecraft.
My sorry, I'm feeling silly, y'all. So let's let's get into this. Holy moly. Is it working? Is everything working? I think it's working. Alright, let's see here. Okie day. Gotta switch headsets now. Oh! It's so thick.
Iron Elemental donated a $21.49 super chat. Thanks for the fun times and videos, Mr. Camarones. And setting up this country fried community.
Dude, that's intensely generous there, Iron Elemental. Your contributions, I assure you, are going directly back into upgrades on the channel. Holy shit. I got the wrong headset on. I got the wrong headset on. Oh my goodness. See, my mic is attached to this one, and then the wireless headset listens to the computer over there, so I can do a stream monitor. I don't quite have it set up where I can hear my own stream through these headsets. I actually stream in silence. When I'm hanging out here in the paint corner, it's completely silent for me. Oh! Well.
Comstar Knight 36 donated a $19.99 super chat. Thanks for the good videos and great painting NG tips. Merry Xmas.
Y'all's y'all's generosity is duly noted and absolutely warms my spirit. I really appreciate it. And again, anything and everything given to the channel goes directly back into production. In fact, I think I posted about it over on the Country Fried Minis Discord. But due to the last influx of Super Chat funds, I've upgraded the camera. It'll be here Friday, but I did some research. Trying to get this glove going. I did some research as to what was regarded as the best webcam. Because you know, I can't necessarily afford to upgrade to a DSLR yet. So I found the next best thing, the top end webcam that I could find, which was a Logitech Brio 4K, and it'll be here on Friday. I went through a whole bunch of videos that showed it side by side with other cameras, and it looks like it's going to get some really nice camera fidelity, hopefully on par with the camera on a cell phone at least. I mean, ideally, if I could just use the cell phone camera for this, it would be best. But I think this is the next best thing, and we'll get some better fidelity. Of course, it was another Nate recommended putting this here towel down while filming Thitania to try and reduce the glare we've been getting, because the camera really struggles with her colors. Those of you who have seen the paint-up progress on our pinup on stream here versus the pictures shown in the Not the Kids table over on the Discord know that there is a distinct difference between the quality here, the fidelity, the image fidelity versus the stream quality. Anyhow, without further ado, if you choose to spend it on booze, all fine with me. Well, I have good news for you, Iron Elemental. I am not a drinker. I'm a recovered alcoholic, so no booze for me, just coffee. Now, I can't promise that I won't spend a significant portion of Super Chat and Patreon funding on more Cafe Bustelo, which I'm drinking now because I was up all night. I got about an hour before the premiere this morning and woke up just dead. Yeah. Okay, so where are we at now on this Thitania? We've done the NMM. We've done the hair and the skin, and I need to cut in some... here, let me get a point and implement. I need to cut in some shading there. I need to maybe boost the NMM effect. Here, let me try to get that in frame. Maybe boost the NMM effect on this front, and then of course definitely the back of this axe. And I'm thinking of glazing this thing. I'm kind of liking what's going on with the black, the hard black metallic effect here, but it's a little too black and white. So I think we're gonna purple glaze over top of it and turn it into an obsidian axe blade. Oh crap, I didn't know you were a recovering alcoholic, dude. My bad. No. Let me make a distinction. I am a recovered alcoholic. Booze does not faze me. I have since been able to hang out with friends at the bar. So please do not let my poo-pooing on alcohol poo-poo your fun. No hate at all to my holiday drinkers out there. I was known to enjoy a good holiday spiced eggnog, though I tended to prefer rye whiskey instead of rum in my eggnog. It made for a very nice flavor. Okay, so where are we starting today? I think let's warm up and get into this here crazy Christmas Eve holiday stream that's not holiday themed at all, and let's paint some rocks. Coax y'all in with promises of sexy lady, and we're gonna paint rocks. Didn't know either. No offense intended with my dumb recommendation. Again, no offense taken. Let me just take a moment and say a very happy Christmas to everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic time wherever you're at, whoever you're with. If you're surrounded by family, if you're alone, whatever's going on, I hope that a little bit of that holiday spirit is getting to you and you're having a good time. I think even those having a humble Christmas can find a little bit of that spirit and that good time. That said, if y'all got things to do with family or friends or whatever you need to do, go do them. Don't hang out here. But for those of you who are here, thank you for showing up. This is incredible. The outpouring of support the community's been having as of lately is really, really intense and well appreciated. Okay. I kind of think that we can just paint this base without filming it. I don't think it's important at all to the tale that I'm trying to tell about Thitania, and that will help to cut down on the editing time as well. So let's get out our messy wet palette, which is still mildly moist from the last session. I'm gonna add a little bit of water, just a little bit, rehydrate it up some. And I think I'm going to start putting on some grays onto our rocks. And, I'm sitting here thinking about it. I think we want to boost back up the blue shadows that we've kind of established on the model. So I'm going to get back out my favorite apple barrel cobalt blue. Like, I swear this bottle is 20 years old. I'm pretty sure. Oh, here we go. Here we go. There is a date on it. This is a 2005. You probably can't see that. It's a 2005 bottle of apple barrel, and it's still liquid. It's still liquid. It's still usable. I mean, it's a little chunky in spots, but like, come on, GW. Come on, GW. You telling me an 18-year-old bottle of apple barrel is still valid? And my my container of Mournfang Brown that left the very back corner popped open just a tiny bit because of your shitty paint pot design that crusts up with paint is all crusted up and unusable? Shame. For shame. Alright, so we're going to put out a little blue. You know what? No. Let's get out a fresh sheet. Let's just go a fresh sheet so y'all can see what's going on the palette tonight. We're going to just get rid of you. See you later. Alright. Let me grab this Hydro pack. Open up a brand new pack of the Hydro pack. Not that I mean to shill for Army Painter here, but I've been very pleased with their wet palette, and honestly, I know that it's more cost effective to just make your own wet palette with like a Tupperware container and a sponge and cut your own parchment paper. But honestly, this is so inexpensive. It's well worth it. I think this costs like $13, which, you know, is a little high, but it's fine. I don't mind paying it. Plus, due to mishap, I ended up getting 2 for the price of 1. Thanks, Amazon driver. Nightbot says adult cats only meow at humans, not other cats. Kittens meow to their mother, but once they get a little older, cats no longer meow to other cats. Interesting. Again, I don't know if that's true. Nightbot tends to give half-truths. Plus, the kitty cat meowing, like the mama meow, sounds different than the meow that cats give their people. Sounds substantially different. It's like a sound when they're talking to their mama type mama versus, you know, your typical meow that you get when the cat's talking to you. I know this because some content I watched, and then also a little bit of personal experience. I used to have cats. Iron Element says, I like the peated Scotch whiskeys on holidays. Otherwise, I just drink coffee, tea, and tap water. I should drink more tap water. I got a problem with this here. I drink way too much of that carbonated water lately. I mean, it's water, but it's I don't know, $1.59 per a 1.75 liter container. Honestly, can't complain. Comstar Knight says same. Also agrees. $13 ain't bad. No, not at all. And the price for these things is, you know, it's low on Amazon. So if you need to order it, you know, you can give Bezos some bucks, but it's usually all right with like a 15% markup or so if you go to your FLGS. And plus, something if your hobby supply you're picking up is in the 10 to like $20 range, I think it's super reasonable to drop that money towards your FLGS when you're there trying to find a pickup game or whatever. I'm generally a fan. I mean, I'm not a fan of paying more. Let me amend what I'm saying here. Not a fan of paying more, but I don't mind dropping $10 to a game store, especially somewhere like Gamescape in San Francisco, my local place for Infinity, does not charge a table fee. So I feel like it's my duty as a gamer to buy a pot of paint at least when I go in there. Games of Berkeley, the place where we do the monthly Battletech meetup, they have a $5 table fee. So even if I don't pick up something when I go in there, I don't feel super guilty. Which honestly, okay, not to talk smack on my FLGS where I play Battletech every month, but their selection isn't super great for an eccentric mini gamer like myself. I want the weird sculpts. I want fun, strange things. I want some Reaper models. I want Ironwind Metals, Battletech. I want funky stuff. I'm not there to pick up like big name brand Battletech. And what I mean by that is just like the hottest, newest boxes. I want the funky stuff. I'm not there to pick up Warhammers. And really, a significant portion of their floor space kind of is tailored towards that experience, towards those folks, which is fine. Of course, Games of Berkeley is more than just a miniature shop, right? It's a place to get cards and board games. They have a huge selection. They even sell disc golf discs there. So, not that I'm throwing shade at them as much as saying they don't have what I'm after. So, that long-winded explanation. In that case, I'm glad they charge a table fee because I can go there and drop $5 on my Battletech day and feel okay about it. Iron Element says, I don't believe this one from Nighty. I hear meowing cats all over the place. Or when those fuckers have an argument under the bedroom window. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't trust the Nightbot. Don't trust the Nightbot. She lies. She's a liar. Kind of ditched carbonated drinks often make me feel blown up and uncomfy. I had a problem with diet sodas, and I just would really overconsume them. And I have switched to, I like the Crystal Geyser carbonated water because it doesn't have much flavor. Even their flavored stuff is very mild. And you get that satisfaction of drinking a soda pop while also, you're drinking water. Alright, I'm going to adjust this camera a bit. So maybe I can actually get this in frame tonight. Okay. What are we working on here? Some rocks. Let's put Thitania back on the base briefly and reaffirm from which direction our light is coming. So she's standing here. I can hold it. And the light's hitting the body, so it's kind of coming in from the front, from the side, and from the top at like a fun angle. So let's just take a little bit of white and we're just going to immediately sketch on our brightest spots of highlight. Create a little bit of a little bit more zenithal effect here. We'll have a little bright light here spilling over the side. We'll have some of the brightest light here, just a little bit. We'll definitely have some here. Pretty much this entire facing brightly lit, and then we'll have some spilling here. Just thinking about the light, which is, it's funny if you come from a background, like a foundational background of painting Warhammer models, like myself. You kind of think of painting in this formulaic GW approach where you you build up the highlights, you edge highlight everything. It's all samey. You're not making these volumetric shapes like we're doing here. So we're just going to do a rough sketch. We'll do a little bit there. This is under her foot, so it's not super well lit. And actually, I think that's about it for the brightest. So we've got this foundational white layer. Let's work with that. Nightbot is like Toddbot. Nightbot may eventually be replaced. She's got some functions that like do some auto moderation in chat. Like she'll time you out for using too many caps or like too many emojis. But honestly, the Country Fried Minis live streams haven't been popping off enough to warrant that, really. But that's changing with every stream, it seems. The community's growing, more people show up. So I'm anxious to see how well the auto moderation actually works, and what other options will be a little better. Okay, so now we're continuing our sketch of these highlight layers with a very light gray. And this is a mixture of our Liquitex white ink and medium sea gray by Vallejo. Maybe a little bit right there. We're just stepping it down, going one step down and trying to figure out where our brightest spots will be one step down from white. And I think, you know, we're probably going to glaze in some gray over top of all this anyways. All right, so down here, we're not getting, we have a shadow that's going to fall off of right here. So our brightest point is actually this edge, and then same down here. So the shadow's going to fall this way, so we want the brightest edge right there. And I think we'll put a little highlight here. Light's coming in this way. I think it's not really going to spill around that corner, but we're going to take a little artistic liberty with the light direction there. And then let's put some reflected light edges here and here. And this is calling back to, you know, GW edge highlighting thinking. And some reflected light on the sharpest edges down here. Okay. The sketching on the model feels so alien to Indeed, coming from an uneducated Warham's painting life. Now, see, I should add a caveat to your statement there. The sketching method, or the Warhammer method, works, and it's just kind of painted as if the model is being lit from straight down at all times, and that's why Zenithal works so well. This, honestly, I'm kind of making this up as I go based on things I've seen, but I'm trying to treat this model like a drawing, thinking about where the light's going to go, doing the try hard thing. And see, like, these are really rough layers, but we can glaze it together here in a bit. I've added in a little bit more sea gray, so we're coming down in intensity and just layering a little more gray here. I'm gonna bring this highlight down. That's a kind of a deep shadow area here, so I don't know if we're gonna stick to this sketched color there, but this side is all lit by reflected light. So let's sketch on the high points here, but just focusing on the edges. It's gonna, like, overall be a darker gray and some bluey tones. Gonna go all over with the gray. A little bit back here. Actually, I think this is too bright right here. So I'm going to start covering up some of that last bit of work. This should be darker. This is in shadow. Should just be more edge highlighty stuff with this color. And a little bit of reflected light here and there, there and there. And this should all be really dark. This whole back face right here. We'll do a reflected light edge highlight here. I guess it's wrong to categorize this as an edge highlight. I'm applying it like an edge highlight, but we'll cover over it. Okay, next up, I think we're gonna take our last color here and mix in a whole bunch of sea gray. I think it's time. Let's just step down to almost straight sea gray. So we'll take a whole bunch of the medium sea gray, and I'm using a 4 round brush for this. It's got a really fat belly, it holds a whole lot of paint, but it's still got a nice tip. And we've got basically sea gray with a tiny brush tip's worth of the white in it. And actually, as soon as I put that on, I realized that it's too bright. So let's even skip that step and just go straight to the medium sea gray. Yeah, there we go. This sea gray is neat. It's got like a beigey quality to it that I like quite a bit. But right now, I'm gonna put it on as kind of this foundation of the darkest areas. My neighbor's dog is mad at somebody. I can hear its little voice echoing in the hallway. Is that coming through the mic? It stopped right as I looked. It sounds like a small dog. Sounds like a little lad. Might be my neighbor a few doors down has a little, I don't know what it is, like a Shih Tzu or something like that. It's one of those like fluffy little dogs. It's a cute thing. Alright, so continuing our sketch. I'm gonna push that sea gray down. Pushing it down. Just taking everything we've done so far, pushing it further down. Pushing it down. Trying to be cognizant of the deepest cracks and crevices. Just realized I missed some over here. Missed some sketching right here. So I've gone back to the last color. Gonna correct that missed area. All right, back to the sea gray. Bring that down. The back end of this rock, yes, sea gray. The front edge of this one in the shadow, sea gray. Yeah. Some more on the back end. Okay. I think maybe even a little bit up here. This is almost like an underpainting where we're putting together. Filter must be doing a job because we don't hear. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, the noise filter in OBS is really good. I need to figure out how to incorporate it into my voiceovers. Also, hi, I've been lurking for the last 20 minutes or so. Well, welcome, Jason Smith. Thank you for sharing some of your time on this fantastic holiday evening, the holiday day before the holiday. I am so humbly honored that folks thought that this stream would be a good place to show up and check out what's going on. I promised to work the shaft, but we're actually just painting some rocks, which is fine. Low effort, talking about underpainting, sketching on some stuff. Okay, so now we've taken, I keep forgetting to show you the palette. We've taken a little dip of the black and some of our medium sea gray. And we want a darker version of the sea gray, but not too dark yet. And we're gonna find the edges of our sea gray and just push down that gradient a little more. Again, this is still just underpainting. We'll develop these layers and then hit the rocks with the glaze to unify all these harsh breaks in tonality. And this is all reflected light stuff back here. So honestly, I need to cut in the darker tone closer to the bright stuff. We kind of want the back faces of these rocks to be more edge highlighty, where the front end we want more like broad areas of the bright tonality. So yeah, let's establish some steps down in color. It's a little too bright. Alright. Same over here. Still very sketchy, very rough. The general idea. I don't know if any of y'all out there have ever done figure drawing, but when you start your day in figure drawing, usually to warm up, you'll do a whole bunch of gestural stuff where you're just trying to capture the essence of the motion of your subject really fast. Like I'm talking like 60 seconds spent scribbling with a piece of charcoal, not worrying about detail. That's kind of what we're doing here. We're blocking out some shapes, not even blocking them out, we're sketching them in, and that will help inform our next step. I want to darken this up some more. Put some down here. Some in this crevice, but not all the way into the crevice yet. Same here, into the crevice. There we go. Alright. Now everything back here, except for this sharp edge, is going to be almost black gray. Alright, starting to shape up. Holy crap, I'm missing the thing. Well, howdy another Nate, and welcome. No pressure to be here. This is a silly Christmas Eve holiday day before the holiday. Getting a little work done so I can edit up Thitania and try to have a New Year's Eve video for y'all. Try being the objective term there. The Octavia production really highlights once again just how much work goes into producing a video. But it's fine. And prepping stuff for the kids tomorrow while I watch you do your thing. May do some painting myself when I'm done. Have some mechs and gears that need finishing. That sounds awesome. Sounds like a pretty good evening. A little hobby time. A little bit of Santa Claus. I love the sound of that. But I live for the silly. Yeah. Silliness is my mantra. So I feel that. Alright, we're going to take a little bit of our cobalt blue and create this this yucky shadowy color. And we're going to use it to start bringing down our gray into the blue territory. And I use the blue because those of y'all who saw the first episode of the Thitania streams would know. I started with that blue foundational spray And, well, I guess you can still see blue here on the base. And we want to tie it back into those shadow colors. That's a little too bright. So we're going to add in more black and more blue. And make sure our next tone is deeper than this gray right here. Yeah, that looks right. Continuing the sketch. Continuing the sketch down. We're going to do a broader area with this tone. We're basically onto like the I guess this is kind of like the mid-tone. This is like the base color of these rocks almost. Everything after this is going to be proper shadows. So this bluey blacky gray will be the main color on this back end for most of the rocks. Again, just very sketch-like. Get it on there. Not only are we trying to what am I trying to say here? We're trying to do a quick and efficient paint job back here that sells some big contrast between the colors, but we also want to remember that this area is the base of the model and not the focal point. So our base should not be drawing focus away from our model. Not at all. Ooh, it was unusually warm today, so I decided to dust off the printer, see if I could get to make something decent. I was just messing with sorts when I noticed the time. What you putting on the printer, Nate? Anything fun? Or is it a secret? Since 1955, 50% of the population of Nigeria is consistently under 16 years old. The current population is 21,600,000. I can believe that. There's a trend in world populations that the countries that are going through development stages tend to have really high birth rates, and there's a typical bell curve to it, and as countries become more developed, they tend to slow down in birth rate. So it doesn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if that factoid from Nightbot is true. Though we have established that Nightbot tells kind of half-truths. So I don't really know. Okay, so we've got our blacky bluey brown here. Blacky bluey gray, excuse me. And this is kind of going to be, for the most part, the darkest color in the brightest areas. So anywhere that's getting that straight on lighting is going to have this as the shadow tone, even though it's kind of like the all over mid-tone for the back end. This is going to be a major the darkest color on a lot of these facings on the front. I see some spots that'll get a little more shadow, like these crevices and cracks right here will, but for the most part, like right here where this is getting direct sunlight, this is our darkest tone. You experience this quite a bit in doing charcoal drawings. Like, what will be the darkest tone in one area can oftentimes be the brightest tone in other shaded areas. It's all a matter of context. Okay. So, still real rough. We're sketching it on. some free pinups from Cults and a pile from my mini factory. Ooh, getting into the pinups yourself. I love it. The Thitania video will be a really fun essay on why you should maybe consider try-harding a pinup in your collection. Out of This World Models and Minis showed up and says, "Hey Cameron, just popped in to wish you a Merry Christmas. Hope you have a great holiday season and amazing 2024." From John. My sentiments to you exactly, good sir. I hope that your holiday day before the holiday is going smoothly and you're having some good times with friends and family or whatever you're aiming to do. And for the rest of y'all in chat, if y'all don't know about Out of This World Models and Minis, John over there does some really fun paint-ups of all kinds of stuff. I think I mentioned before the Nurgle Night Titan has been one of my favorite videos, but there's also some really fun stuff, some Doctor Who stuff, some Star Trek stuff, some Star Wars stuff. If you want to see a good variety beyond just your standard mini painting, check it out. It's well worth your time. Big recommend. Country Fried Minis approved. Comstar Knight with a welcome for Nate. Also, once again, I know I keep hammering it home, but I want it to be crystal clear that that y'all find these hobby hangouts and this content fun and entertaining really warms my heart and utterly humbles me. This is your community, and you're making this experience really fun for me, and I hope that enjoyment and enthusiasm comes forth in the miniature production, in the video production. Or at least I'm aiming to make that happen. Where were we? We're still putting on our blacky bluey grayish beigeish color. Blackish, bluish, grayish, beigeish. Silly. Yeah. I see some spots of deep shadow that need to be darkened down. So we're going to do that. And then here, we've already done that color there, so no need. I see a spot I've missed in this crevice, so let's bring our blackish, bluish, grayish, beigeish into it. We're gonna push this into the crevices. I mean, we're gonna hit those crevices again with a darker color, but I want to just hit them now, just in case we miss some of it here in a bit. And let's butt this color right up next to these bright edge highlights that are reflected light. Starting to get a little thin. I think that's an effect of the low pigment quality of the apple barrel colors. So, or low pigment density, I should say. Apple barrel pigments are fine in quality, but they are not very dense. I think that's something you'll run into if you try them out for your own hobby. They tend to be very low pigment concentration. So take multiple coats. But if you thin them down and you treat them like any other paint and do multiple layers to build up the opacity, they work just fine. And the cost savings are immense. Well, they're from the NSFW section, but they're totes SFW and not really pinups. It's fair. As far as sourcing pinup models, big recommendation for Twin Goddess Miniatures over on my mini factory. Some really good sculpts, and it's not just all booba ladies like Thitania here. There's other fun stuff There's also there's like this whole cast of fantasy characters done up in various themes, like office workers or beach party. And there's pinups of both sexes. So if you want to paint a hunk of lad, there's some really good male pinups over there as well. There's also some offensively thick goblins with like 4 C's. So if that's what you're into, go for it. I specifically chose this Thitania sculpt because she's a little more reserved. Super sexy, curvaceous, but like not overtly sexualized. I think it's a really good essay, a good study on the pinup. It's all about this area right here, from the butt to the top of the thigh to the rope going over the hip. This is really nice curve study for lighting, which is funny that this is the focal point of the whole model right there. The face, of course, is brought up to face quality, but the focal point is the top of the hip. Howdy Emery. Emery says, if you learn to water and thicken those giant acrylic sets, do fine and are much better than the car model enamels we were expected to use when I was a kid buying lead pewter minis. Yeah, I do recall a little bit of trying to use testers way back when. And, excuse me, I'm sure they work fine in certain applications. I've yet to figure them out. I think I smell a video, though. Some kind of painting a model in testers enamels. Although, can you just hit a tester's enamel with a flat coat over top and bring down the shine? Or are there flat versions of those? I don't know myself. I'm very curious now. I kind of want to paint a mech in testers. Oh, what do we paint in testers? I have just the candidate. For it. Okay. So these are model previews for way down the line, obviously. My production schedule goes way out into the future. But I've talked about the 5 generations of the catapult, and then after that, we'll do, after the 5 generations of the catapult, I want to do a, oh my god, these are so dusty, they've been up there so long. I want to do this Kerensky's ON1-K model. So that episode will be something like, I don't know, Pimp My Ride Kerensky edition, talking about non-stock variants of mechs, and of course painting up the fabulous little, I guess you can't see them. This comes with a 28mm scale Kerensky model. But after that, I've got this ridiculous Perseus model, which is the Omni Mech upgrade of the Orion. And I think it's derpy enough and big broad area enough to be this would be a good candidate for the testers enamels. So fun stuff. I have much planned. I have a video schedule that extends far out into the future. So yeah. That's largely because I have a problem with buying models. That's why my shelves above the bullshit corner look like a game store rack. Heck, I put in a shelf just for Tag Raid. And that's after putting in a shelf for Defiance, which are both Corvus Belli Kickstarters that have way too much stuff in them. Anyhow, where were we? It's an Orion without the missile launcher shoulder pad. Yeah, exactly. Iron Element says, got a set of 5 GW Ogre Troll kind of things with all kinds of deformities. I'm thinking to resculpt some of the chest areas and turn them into a crazy inbred monster family. That sounds really fun. That a really fun project. The type of thing you'd see in Dungeon Crawl Classics. Which I highly recommend. DCC, good game. Quality old school D&D-esque experience. It's closer to old school, like 2nd edition D&D than modern incarnations. Yeah, Goodman Games. They do 5th edition reprints of modules, but they also do Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is good. Plus, Dungeon Crawl Classics has Bubugbabills. So, best deity, best patron of all. Pesters and Hammers do take clear coat just fine. Okay, good to know. I'm kind of excited to try it out and do yet another video of me pretending I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I still got this out of frame. We're mixing up a whole bunch of black and blue, and we've thinned it out with a little extra water, and now I've put in just a little tap of the medium sea gray, which actually has some really strong pigmentation. It has significantly brightened up our black blue, excuse me. Brown, blue, same color. All right, so we're gonna continue here. I don't think that's dark enough. Let's give another little tap of black into the mix. Just a little tippy boo. Yeah, there we go. Now this is on the back end of the rock, so we're still just big broad areas of this dark color. We're gonna push it into the crevices. We're gonna cover a lot of the last color we put on. And that's because the rocks on the back here, I got a little bit too much there. The rocks on the back should be largely dark colored because they are in the shadow. All right. I'm still just chuckling internally about this whole bait and switch I've managed to pull here, which is not my intention. But I did put a thumbnail out talking about our lovely pinup model, and I'm just painting rocks. I find that really funny for some reason. Alright, so now we've got all this stuff in the deep crevices. I'm just going to slap this color in there. We're to the point now where we want to start painting the cracks and deepening them up. Finding areas that are going to be darkest shadow. The back of this rock. It's going to be dark shadow up to an edge. Up to this front edge, I should say. Just want to pack this color in there. Same here. All these little crevices, all that. And we can put some of this on the front as well. So the light, again, is coming in here. So we're still going to have some dark shadows on the back into that. Actually, that's almost the same colors we just put down. Oh, so much happening here. Okay. Iron Elemental, I started my wargaming life as a kid painting my plastic army men with those Revel enamels my father once found while he worked at a chemical waste processing company. Good times. Oh, that's awesome. I still kind of recommend keeping little bags of army men to try out colors. If you ever find yourself at like a dollar store, we have Dollar Tree here in the US. But if you ever find yourself in those places, take a couple bucks, buy you a bag of Army Men. They're really good candidates for spraying stuff on. I would get out of the bed in the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep and put some colors on the guys. So you have a long history of sleepless nights filled with hobbying. Yes, yes, I know the feel. I recall being a teenager at my parents' house, stuffing blankets up under the door jamb so they didn't see that I had my light on, painting my Nurgle Marines at the desk in the middle of the night. Nightbot claims that there's a reply to the saying "liar, liar, pants on fire" in the form of "I don't care, I could buy another pair." Interesting. Emery says it's kind of about adding lots Warhammer Chaos mutation tables and even some more weird loose zucchini dice to D&D. It's not just old school, but what if old school had kept going towards Crazyville? DCC, yeah. DCC really is advanced D&D, I agree. Lou Zochi, not Lou Zucchini, stupid autocorrect. I don't know, I kind of like that it's Lou Zucchini. Zucchini Zucchini made Star Trek models of weird X-sided dice sharp enough to catch yourself in jewel-colored transparent Zochi. Bags of plastic dinosaurs, plastic skeleton, astronauts are universe. Yeah, all that stuff. All those are great. But on the topic of DCC, let me get out and show this off. Those of you who watch the regular content can see this every now and then in the corner. But I do have a thing of the DCC dice. And the funky dice is a big reason I love D&D, or DCC. So you might immediately notice there's more dice here than your standard D&D set, and it's good. The way DCC kind of works with proficiency and non-proficiency is the harder it is, you go down the dice ladder, or if you're better at it, you go up the dice ladder. So let's see. Does it just say what's in here? Okay. So we got 14 dice in here. We'll start. Let's just demonstrate and go through the whole dice chain. So we got our D3. So it's a D6, conveniently marked with 1s, 2s, and 3s. D4, standard. Where's it at? The D4 is weird shape in here. It's like kind of got these rounded edges, which I like. We got a D5, which is this one. So it's real funky shaped. It's got a flat edge to land on, and then the number on the other side. So there we go. Just rolled a 5. So if you were slightly better with a dagger, or you had like a magic dagger, you'd be dealing D5 damage with it. Standard D6. We've got a D7. Let's see if I can identify it. I think it's this one. Another really funky die. You got these flat edges, and then the numbers on these round bits. Up to a standard D8, and then our D10 with the percentile. From there, we go to our standard D12, but then we've got a D14, and I think it's this one. So it looks very similar to a D12, but 14-sided die. From there to a D16. D16 would be like, this would be the step down from your D20 if you were using a weapon you weren't proficient with, for instance. Onto the D20, and then we've got a D24. So if you're like really good with your longsword, you might be hitting with a D24. And then if you're exceptionally good, you got the D30. My favorite die in the collection, a 30-sided die. Yeah, real funky. And then they all come in a color with a theme based on some kind of monster. This one is the Hellcat, which is insane. Let's see. Initiative +4. It's got a +6 bite that does 1d6 +4 plus ignites target. And then it's got a claw attack at a +4, which is a D4 +2 plus ignite target. AC 18, which is insane in DCC. 6d12 hit dice. for an average of 42 HP, moves 45 feet. 5d20 action die. Special ability 1d12 to fire damage to creatures within 10 feet. Melee attacks ignite targets. Immune to fire and cold. Infravision, demon traits. It can serve as a familiar, and it casts spells with a spell check of +6. I think that's probably this 1d12 fire damage to creatures within 10 feet. So yeah, Goodman Games, good stuff. I think I paid like $20, 25 bucks for this set. I'm not 100% sure, but you said Xochi, and I think people refer to these dice as Xochi dice. I seem to recall that. But yeah, even if you're just a D&D player, pick up a DCC set. Big recommend. Madagascar got its name when Marco Polo misspelled it. The name stuck, and the island was christened to the name in 1500. Marco Polo originally wanted to call Madagascar Magical NASCAR, but NASCAR wasn't invented yet. Yeah. Speaking of NASCAR, if any of y'all find yourself in Tennessee on vacation for some reason, Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge, I think it's Pigeon Forge, has a NASCAR, like a NASCAR theme park type deal where you can ride go-karts. They even have one that's like fairly high-powered go-karts. Kind of fun stuff. The Nate also mentions the Final Faction toys. I need to hit the Dollar Tree again soon for more of those excellent Greeblies. Yeah, I feel bad for some of the crafters across the pond who don't have such easy access to the Final Faction. They are really good Greeblies. Okay, where were we? We're putting on the next step down in black blue. So it's mostly black blue with a touch of gray. And we're going to use this to deepen our shadows, or at least start deepening the shadows. Picking out the crevices and the dark faces. Yeah, it's already starting to get some depth. I mean, it's sketchy, right? It's not smooth highlights at all. But it's starting to look passable. And actually, I'm sitting here looking at the model and thinking that now that I've covered up all that contrast paint from before, it was a waste to use it. Yeah, maybe not. I guess it serves as a foundational color layer. Alright, let's put a very thin line in this fissure on the side of the rock. There we go. And now we want to just cover anywhere that has that contrast paint still showing. I guess that's what purpose is served by the contrast now. We can see a distinct color change of where we need to apply this. I just want to cover up anywhere that's not painted yet in our sketching. And now that we're on the back, we want to bring those shadows way up. There we go. Real dark on the back. Not really sure what the next step is. I'm thinking once we have this set up, we'll do a glaze. Either a glaze or like a really, really thin layer of contrast over top of it. Oh, someone outside is having a bad time. Okay. Got a little bit more contrast that needs to get covered right here. And then deep into this fissure. Deepen up those shadows. Okay. I still see some right here. And I think that's where we lie. NASCAR Speed Park. I installed their icy machines. Yeah, you know, another Nate knows. It's the thing. Emery says Russian Technolog models, Robogear among their lines, can also be great for cheap stuff to paint through Russian import. Though Russian imports are way down with their Ukraine invasion. Fun toy models though. They even have some little robots for battletech, sort of based on gun mobile suit. But Technolog makes centaurs, orcs, barbarians, robots, etc. Usually 1/35th scale, but still fun to paint. I know what you're talking about. Holy moly! I have a bag of those. Shit, where's it at? I'll tell you what. Let me refill my coffee. I can smell it burning, and I'm gonna dig into my bin that's in the kitchen. I'm pretty sure it's right there. Either way, it's only gonna take me just a moment. I will be right back, y'all. Let's do that. Yeah. Technolog models. I know I have them. I know that they're there. I know they exist. I know that I have them. But my coffee's burning. I can smell it. And I know it's important. My disappointment's immeasurable. I don't know where they're at. I just went through a whole bunch of boxes. I guess they could be right here. One last peek. One last place. Nope. No, my models. Damn. It's another one of those things that I found randomly at the that didn't sound good. Someone's having a real bad time out there. All right, one last peek. One last peek. Is it this box? It could be this box. This is important. This is important. I swears it. Yeah, I bet they're in here. All right. I have too much stuff, y'all. I have far too much stuff. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. There they are. All right. All right. And you know what? Now that I have them out, I don't even know if they're the Technolog, but they're really good. And they're Russian. And yeah, we'll paint them up at some point. Holy moly. Russian stuff in Europe is currently frowned upon. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, first off, I got this here. Action Force 13-piece playset. $1. Maybe $1.59, whatever the Dollar Tree's up to. $1. This stuff is incredible for hitting with the airbrush and trying new techniques. Make sure to pick up some of these if you find the opportunity and have the disposable income. But on the topic of, I think these are the Technolog, but these are were at least readily available on Amazon. I got them at the Amazon returns store in my hometown. They're pretty cheap. And they're these really fun, I mean, they're low quality plastic, but come on now. These lads are so fun. Readily available bags of, it's like orcs and skeletons and samurai and stuff like that. The sculpts are fun. Honestly, the mold lines aren't even that bad, but the toy plastic is of low quality. But yeah. I know what you're talking about, and I had to dig them out, Emery. I had to dig them out to showcase these fun things. Pretty sure this is the Technolog. No idea, of course, because it's all in Cyrillic, so I have no idea. But yeah, good stuff. Here we go. What do we got? We got Minotaurs and skeletons and death knights. What are these? Werewolves, orcs, elves, knights, centaurs. I can't make out what these guys are. More elves, maybe? Like high elves, and then dwarves. You could totally build a full RPG set out of these for really cheap. And it is unfortunate right now that the parent country of this company is engaged in things that are hurting their ability to sell and be profitable and fun. Before the camera focus, I was thinking to myself, Orc Samurai, yeah, Emery, I had to. Sorry to put everything on hold and jump up and dig through all my boxes, which I'm now going to have to repack after the stream. But I had these. I had to mention this obscure thing. I can't believe someone else knows about this thing that I only know about by some kind of bizarre random chance. Yeah, before the camera focus, I was thinking Orc Samurai. Yeah, they kind of are Orc Samurai. Emery says violent annexation is frowned upon. That is fair. That is true. Okay, so we're kind of back to it here. I've got most of the crevices. Most of the crevices are fully coated in our blackish bluish tone. I'm not really seeing much. Not really seeing much of the contrast paint still peeking through. Hey, somebody's honking their horn. I see a little bit here that I missed. All right, and I think what we're going to do now is do one more layer of work on this. So let's make an even darker color. We'll take some of our black, a hefty dollop of our black, I should say, and then a hefty scoop of our blue, and then a little tappy-do. Well, maybe it is a little more than a tappy-do of our sea gray. We're going to make a real dark, nice dark tone here, and then we'll test it right here to make sure it's darker than our previous tone, and it is. So we're going to go to town with it. We're going to push it into the crevices. We're going to use it as our shadow color on this back end. We are possibly not going to use it at all on the front of the rock where it's getting light. Just going to build our shadows a little more. Deepen the shadows on the back here where it should be super dark. I mean, most of the light that's back here is going to be reflected anyways. So less emphasis on the hard the deep gradients. More contrasty stuff, more dark areas with edge of highlighting, except for here. We're gonna have more light spilling around that edge. But let's build these shadows. Shit, I'm thinking I might even need to do another layer on the back that's even blacker. Maybe just a black-blue mix without any other color in it. I hope that my talking about this as I go through the steps is helpful. I'm really just stream of consciousness here, just kind of thinking out loud and trying to share the process that I'm not only doing, but what I'm thinking about. And I think that's important to share when trying to give knowledge about techniques and applications of those techniques. Like, okay, let's say you're taking a drawing course and your instructor's just like, here's the thing, draw it, and they never like go over the basics of the thought process. What are you actually learning? Like, you're just reinforcing what you already know. I think that's kind of something that's maybe not touched on enough on YouTube channels. I know we get a lot of instructional videos out there, but like, how many of them are talking about their thought process? I don't know. I kind of think I should rewatch some of my favorites and give some thought to that. I'll be leaving you for now. My eyelids are fighting gravity again. Iron Elemental, thank you for sharing your Crimbus Eve night, holiday night before the holiday. It's insane that you stay up so late and watch these streams. Thank you so much. Oops, I hear a final lifting phase. Time to warm up the wash tank. That's it. I'm firing my cleaning service. Can't hobby in this crap cave. Oh no. The hobby space is a disaster area. Yeah, so as far as a disaster of a hobby space, pro tip for your hobby space. Okay, with a little star. Terms and conditions may apply here. It's not going to make your hobby space not a disaster while you're working, but if you start recording what you're doing in your hobby space and turning it into video content, you got to clean it up, and it's a great way to make sure it stays ready. Anytime I do one of these streams, I generally take about 30 minutes beforehand to kind of clean up the space and prepare it for filming. Or like, especially when I'm doing the talking head bits. When I record my talking head in the corner, I always have a disaster to clean up. And that extra impetus of publicly showing what I'm doing adds spurs me to clean it up. So yeah, you should totally film it and make some content. Nathan says, I'm kind of digging the bigger color blocks, kind of comic book style. Yeah. Jason says, I would need a much better camera setup for that, not in the budget. Yeah, that's fair. Though, for what it's worth, I know the camera here is kind of shit, honestly. But at least for painting on a webcam, which is, it's decent. You can kind of see it, at least. I think I paid $15.99 for this webcam here. And then this one up here, I got used for about the same price. This one's a Logi something 720p. And then this one is a cheap off-brand. Let's see, does it say? It's a Wansview. A Wansview 1080p Chinese knockoff. You're thinking out loud on the process, definitely appreciate it. That's the real reason Thitania is my favorite webcam gal. Yeah, well, it could be the boobies too. And we still have work to do on her. I did tease that we'd be working this shaft, but how far in are we? Will we actually get to the shaft? Where's this sitting at? Okay, we're an hour and a half in. I may get to the shaft work by the end of the night, Iron Elemental, if you end up wanting to watch the rest played back through the VOD. New camera on the way. Yeah! I'm super excited about it. I hope it goes smooth. I hope my computer doesn't argue with it too much. Like this computer in the corner here is decent. It's actually my old computer before I built the new one. So it's not so much a matter of it being powerful enough to run stuff as much as I found that certain software does not like my monitor setup. So I know I've showed this on stream before, but my view of the stream and whatnot is just this little screen. How big is it? It is 6 by, I can't even get this in there. 6 by 4. Little monitor, little touch screen. I think this is made for like the back of a car headrest or something. But it's touch screen and it's good enough. But that's why I'm always leaning in to this camera, is because of the little screen there. And then certain bits of software don't like it at all. The worst is the EOS webcam utility just will not run. It closes.
The Cyrillic on that package says soldatiki, and sold at means soldiers, so maybe icky is plural for plastic soldiers. Soldat, yeah, okay. Those ain't boobers, those are my wide open eyes.
Well, I read that as boobies because I am a pig.
My, what big eyes you have, Thitania.
No, I went with the small boobs one. There's one with that's very top heavy, same sculpt, but I thought it detracted from what I wanted as the focal point, which is the curves on her thighs and hips. It's just really well sculpted. I like a good pinup that is well done, very curvaceous, without being like super hypersexualized. I think there's some skill in doing that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have some in my collection that will probably never get painted on YouTube. Not that they're like fully nude, but like just like very made for the male gaze to an absurd degree. But yeah, a well done pinup is worth having in your collection. I think they speak to me most well namely because I'm a pig, but because of my background in tattoo art. Like pinup art is great. I think that's one reason I really like Infinity. I think I mentioned that before. Infinity, it's got the sci-fi action poses. It's got the badass space knights. It's got the heavy armor. It's got the tactical armored gear. But it also has really well done and well thought out pinup models. Fun ones as well. I keep thinking of Layla Sharif and her outrageous booty. And then she's also a really good model on the field. So it was a fun paint-up. Anytime one of those fun paint-up models has direct application in your force, it's really cool. Okay, so got our dark tones down. I think that's about it for this. We might do one more layer of like a more black blue. I'm actually gonna need to do a little bit right there in a lighter tone. Let's put that. I left out some light sketching there. Okay. And it actually should spill over this a little bit. All right. So you can see here that this front end has more of a bias towards the lighter tone because our light's coming in here. And on the back, we still have some of the light spilling over the edge because it's coming in this way. Let me try to angle this so you can see. The light's coming in this direction. So it's cutting across all this. So we've got a little bit of edge highlighting here, which I think I need to brighten up these edges. And we got some reflected light here, but largely in the back we're this like really dark tone. So you can see the back has more contrast. The contrast is more biased towards the dark as opposed to the front, which is more biased towards the light. So let's do one more layer of stuff. I dream a genie with the big brown eyes. Yeah, dropping out for real now. I'll be watching the rest later with a working pair of brain cells. Good night, all. Thanks for stopping by, Iron Elemental, and happy Christmas. Cheesecake is one thing, but Hustler presenting is fun and touch. Tacky and edgy to sell into spanker stuff. Well, indeed. That's I mean, honestly, that's what I'm trying to avoid with the pinup thing here. Honestly, I don't want to go into too far into the lecherous territory, but I do want to make a strong case for for painting a pinup. I think everyone should have one in their collection. It's really, really good stuff. And honestly, if you have a problem with the sculpts existing, maybe it's not the hobby for you anyways. Anyhow, we have mixed up black and blue without any gray in it all. And we're about to deepen the shadows on the back end. Deepen it even more. Push this into the crevices, especially right here where it's really flat. You can build up the, you can deepen the shadows back here and create a little more depth in our darkest areas. And again, it's really sketchy. Sketching it on. We're still in that sketching step, y'all. And we'll smooth it all out with a glaze here in just a moment. A little bit here in that crack. This should even come up kind of that way. Let's do, as this gets towards the back of the rock, it's basically just solid black blue. Got a little bit of the thread and the needle rock chair. And the back of this stone in that crevice. I've gotten straight blue on that somehow. Let's see if we can't remove it. Using a combination of licking the paint and wiping it off here. Trying to, there we go. Okay. 18-year-old blue paint. Yeah, now that's a flavor. Don't eat your paint, y'all. But if you do, it's okay. I'm pretty sure it's not toxic. All right, and we're gonna deepen just a few key points here. Just a few spots. This crevice next to the skull is enough out of the shadow, or out of the light, that it could use a dark shadow. I want to deepen that crevice just a bit right there. This one a bit, and right here in that crack, just a little bit of this darkest color. Not much. A little down here. There we go. And the tiniest bit right here in that corner. And I think that's all of this color we're putting on. A little bit here in the back. These rocks in the very back that are furthest away from the light source should probably bias towards that black blue. All right, so we've got a foundational color schema on our rocks. You know, you could use an oil wash. Oh man, could it? An oil wash, you say? An oil wash? You keep trying to tempt me into the oil. Tacky and edgy. Well into spanker stuff. You want to get close to the edge, not jump off the cliff. Avoid Tumblr hentai darkness in the mind, where raunchiness bends around on itself, and animal self is confused by how weird it just got. Yeah. Also, brush slicking good. At least the paint is 18. Oh, that's weird. Okay. All right. So, I think we want to take a moment and reestablish some of our lighter edge highlight stuff. My ink is separated out a bit, so we give it a good stir. And let's get some bright edge highlight stuff going, and we want to clean up some of these highlights that have gotten a little messy. So let's hit that edge. Let's hit this edge. Let's hit that edge. Needs to be brighter. More white. More white. here. Let's clean up these edges. Clean up the edges that lost their brightness in the mad dash to do black tones. Oh, come on. I have to actually take time to dip it in water. Imagine that. Not using my tongue to clean it. Okay. Edge work here. A little bit right here. Try to keep it real tight. Swift motions. Right here should be cleaned up a bit. That edge should be super bright. So let's do that and here. And here. A little too much. Remove our fuck up there. Alright. This edge. That edge. This edge. And then down here a little more. Put a little bit coming down off that. There we go. And then I think we still need some lightness put back in over here with the reflected light. Make sure to screw it up a few times. And then this edge. A little bit here. Just want to bring out a little more contrast where it looks a little flat. A little bit more. Is that in frame? Yeah, okay. A bit there, a bit there. This just on the sharpest bit of these two, the joining of those two vertices, and I think the same right here, just where this tip comes up. A little bit there, not much. All right, brightest area right here. Some highlighting here, but mostly shadow.
All right, them rocks is looking all right.
So I think to unify them,
What we're gonna do is,
I think we're gonna take our medium sea gray
and make a glaze, like a speed paint type glaze out of it.
and I know I have some of this medium. So let's take our medium sea gray, put some down. I guess I need a fair amount of it too. We're gonna put 1 drop of water in it, make it real thin. 1 drop. All right. And then we're gonna take our Vallejo Express color medium and put a few drops in it here. About 3 drops. Well, this bottle got a little too excited there. All right. This should make a nice blending tone. I think 1 more drop of this stuff actually. I want it pretty thin. Drop.
There we go. Drop wise.
And we take a little bit and run it along here to test it. Yeah, that real thin color modulator is what we're going for. All right. Oh my God, that stuff tastes awful. And we're just gonna start hitting it. In fact, let's take and switch to a 6 brush and start putting a modulating layer of this stuff over everything we've done here. Might even be a little too thick still. Do another drop of water in it. Okay. You know, all these mentions of using oils reminds me that I need to broaden my toolbox for some more oil paints. Need some brighter tones in my arsenal. I'm just gonna hit these rocks. I'm gonna hit these rocks with a little bit of our now mixed super thin express paint, and make it look decent. Just giving it a very light all over coat, except for in the darkest shadows where we can avoid it. But we want to kind of apply this in a generalized fashion to dull down the differences between those sketched on layers. And that's why we went so dark in certain places. But just a real thin coat of this all over. All over, yeah. Okay. But that's what happens when you work the shaft. Yeah. You know, using these like contrast paint and speed paint medium for glaze kind of makes me think I might need to add some glaze medium into my collection. I haven't tried it out yet, but definitely closer to the application that I'm trying to use this stuff for. Do some here. Again, trying to smooth out the gradient, but not brighten up the shadows too much. Just want to dull down, kind of blend our really harsh highlight layers. Blend them together some, you know. Okay. A little bit here. Our front end is looking fairly dry now. So I think I'm gonna put I'm gonna put 2 drops of water in this stuff. I want to push this stuff to the edge of breaking. And actually, I think the express medium will hold it together well past the normal breaking point. Let's see. And now we're just gonna do a really, really thin, super thin glaze. Almost, again, a filter. Yeah, that looks great. And we're gonna just smooth out what we're working on. Smooth it out. We got our foundational sketch, and we're painting over it with translucent color. I guess, honestly, I could have pumped the contrast even more, but it's fine. It's good enough. And even though this is a try-hard model, it's good to remember that good enough is good enough. Also, I don't mean to keep bumping the camera. My headphones are catching the arm here as I turn my head. Can y'all see that in the camera? I think you might be able to. The face cam, that is.
Oil is the gateway to artistic elitism. Superb color coordinated panel lines.
Yeah, I do love oils, and I've admittedly only really used it as a grime wash at this point. And there's a guy in our local community that paints his Infinity Forces almost exclusively in oils, and it looks really good. And he says it actually takes him less time than other methods to that standard, because you can, move it around and blend it and remove it I remember encountering Trox at Rose City Raid 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. And his models are all like exquisitely and painstakingly glazed with hundreds of layers, and it's just like when asked how long did it take you, he just kind of laughed. I recognize his models because I use his models in the Infinity 3D Models project. He's got his scanned in to the official module that people use. It was kind of surreal, actually, to recognize models that I play with as a Hockey Slam player. But yeah, compared to a 150-hour glazing project, oils cut that time in like what, a tenth. It's kind of nuts. So I think there's something to be said about building a collection of oils. I currently have Lamp Black, Burnt Sienna, and Abtalung 502's Engine Grease, and that's it. I could stand to get some of them funky colors. And honestly, I got no excuse. None at all. Blick is like 6 blocks from me. It's walking distance. Like close walking distance. Right up on Market Street between... Where is it? He's between 5th and 4th, maybe. So I live like 6 blocks from there. Easy walk. All right. So our glaze is going a long way of flattening this down. Although, because it's made with an express paint medium, it does kind of want to try to favor the recesses and sink into it. We're going to try to avoid that. All right. I think that's looking pretty decent. Pretty decent indeed. It's not dry enough to hit it with another layer. Let's set this to the side for a moment and actually work this shaft a little bit. So, need to give this some thought. Since I'm turning this into like an obsidian color, I think we're just going to paint this whole thing like it's carved wood. Yes, I think that's our plan here. And for that, maybe the candy core will make it big on TTS before too long. Yes, that was the hope. But like I said in that really passive-aggressive community post, trying to get participants to set up a bi-weekly show at this point and at this channel size, and like the bench of people I have in IRL, it's like pulling teeth. It's really difficult and painful to find not only willing participants, but folks who also have a setup to stream and are willing to show up on stream and are available at that time. I think I'll do some Clash episodes at some point, but the bi-weekly show idea is definitely canceled. No way. It ain't gonna work. Let's start building in some wood. What color is this? I think we're gonna do beige brown, ivory, and I think that's it. I think we're about to do this with 2 colors. And really push what we can do here.
Blood Bowl is the only game people get into enough to form leagues over. Yeah, I played in a league where we played exclusively in Blood Bowl 2, I think. I think it's Blood Bowl 2 on Steam, and it was a lot of fun. Well, fun is a strong word there. It's Blood Bowl, and ain't no game as infuriating as Blood Bowl when trying to play competitive and to win. Nuffle is cruel, and usually cruel to you and not your opponent. I've thought about running a Blood Bowl thing on the channel, or at least on the Discord. Running a league could be something fun to get into since that league is no more. I think we got into the... I'm a little butthurt about it. We got to the end of a season, and we were running into the championships, and I didn't do great, but I did good enough to be considered for the wild card to get into the championship, to the playoffs or whatever, and I made it, and I was selected, and then the guy had some kind of private life crisis, and it was the death of the league. So I miss it. I miss it indeed. Okay. I thought Guild Ball might get there, but no. Guild Ball's dead, right? Like it's not officially supported and alive. Could make myself available when needed. I do have a terrible webcam law. Yeah, I love the idea of subscribers getting in on stuff. I think we're gonna do the subscriber dungeon crawl thing first. I think that's more pertinent, kind of to establish that it's a thing and entice more people to join as YouTube members, because YouTube members and patrons will get priority consideration for that. That said, all subscribers would have availability for subscriber events, but priority consideration to those who donate to the channel, of course, to entice people to open their wallets to me. Give me your money, I will scam you out of your funds. Nuffle is great. He sets the halfling above the vampire and lets the what elf lay low the chosen a corner. Yeah, exactly. And speaking of halflings, technically, if the dice went in your favor, the halfling team is one of the few that could get a one-turn kickoff return touchdown with the throwing, which I find really cool. I've never seen it happen, but Tree Man hucking those halflings, yeah. Alrighty, so we're taking our beige brown and ivory, and that's it. And we're about to try hard here and see if we can't paint this axe with two colors in varying amounts, in varying shades. I think it can be done, and I think it's appropriate for this model too, to do a real try-hardy thingamabob. All right, let's get Thitania out, and we're going to use our 4-round again. Our 4-round. I'm looking at another empty deodorant tube and ask myself, do I throw together a second 28mm scrap and start? Ooh. I mean, my answer to that. It's always a resounding yes, that would be fun. Naturally. That's just me. Nuffle bless the Slayers. I've never actually played dwarves. I've got a buddy who was in that same league, and like the luck was just on his side, and Nuffle did indeed bless his dwarves. He was playing dwarves, and like passing the ball and running it and actually playing the game instead of just trying to kill the opponent. And it was working. It was insane. A lot of fun. It's a half halfling, a quarterling. Ah, yes. And they're only in for 1 quarter because they die. Jason says, could also record some of the Mech 5 stuff we do. Maybe not all the time, but on occasion. Yeah, I do really like what we've been able to do in MechWarrior 5. Which leads me into a good segue. If you have wrapped up your holidays and if somehow landed on this video via the algorithm after the fact, consider coming over to the Country Fried Minis Discord. We do miniature paint and stuff, but we also do fun video games. And if you're a battletech enthusiast, which is who I would assume would see this content, or this channel I should say, we've been playing some MechWarrior 5. We've got multiple rooms for hanging out and chatting, playing fun games together. Come on by, show us pictures of your builds. Maybe jump in a live session if you're looking for co-pilots or lance mates to get through that tough mission. Maybe even get in on a streamed game here on the channel. I would very much like to do a I need a bench of 4 people to play through the new Dragon's Gambit DLC, Iron Man style, and starting with just the mechs that it gives you. It's really hard. It's exceptionally hard. I've tried twice now, and just like all it takes is a few missions where you take a little too much damage and you don't have enough mechs to get through the campaign. You have just enough to do it. Like, it's possible to do, but it's hard. It's exceptionally hard. And yeah, I think it'd make for a fun stream. I keep trying to inject video games into the streamings because it's, it's easy to do, and it gets clicks beyond just the miniature painting stuff, which is great. Had a lot of fun with the stuff I did with Tech Noir earlier this year, but it was hard to navigate those old games. I think some more modern stuff might work and still be Battletech related. Spreading the good war crimes to those in need. Yeah. It's only a war crime if we lose. Yes. The best is when a tough team loses all momentum because the crowd threw a brick and permanently killed the star player you upgraded. Yeah, exactly. Just rando. I've had it happen. The whole, like, you get that bad kickoff event where random players start down on the ground, and it's just like it's your team that's down on the ground, not the enemy at all. Plus, I really struggle in Blood Bowl because I play Nurgle, which is the most thematically fun models. I think they look the best. They get really fun mutation. The Chaos Warriors are really, really fun. But they kind of suck. They kind of suck. If you're facing an opponent that has any modicum of speed and they get the ball, you're done. And if you drop the ball, if someone hits you, you're not getting it back. Not even with a fully upgraded Pestigore. That said, I do have a 3D printed all-female Norse team to paint up eventually. It's not prioritized, and like, to be fair, the video schedule keeps changing because I keep adding weird events. Like finally deciding to paint Thitania because I've been promising it forever. This was impromptu. And it delayed some other projects. Finally getting out Octavia. You know, fun stuff. So, who knows? It'll come eventually. Said it once, I'll say it again. I'm in. Let's kick some butt for the dragon. Hell yeah. I tried the Merit Career Start. The starting loadout is rough. So they only give you 4 mechs and they're mostly terrible. A flea, a spider, another light, some crap medium that has no balls. Well, I mean, I'd argue that they're all mechs and none of them have balls. It's more of an organic trait. Oh, it's silly. Although, you know, I could see someone putting a gigantic pair of truck nuts on their Atlas. That even, like, almost makes sense. I'm trying to get this in frame for y'all. I am recording and streaming. Okay. So, what we're doing here is just carefully putting a Vallejo beige brown coat all over this axe haft here. Trying to do it without hitting the hands, hitting the hair. Uh-oh, maximum recording time reached. That means I've been filming for 10 minutes and I can put this to the side. Alright. Now I can focus on the webcam more so than the udder. Alright. So let's get... I want to do like a pale wood on this. Honestly, I think I could have got away with doing the same like base color again, starting with the Mornfang brown, but let's just not do that and go with 2 tones here and actually work this shaft. And unfortunately, working the shaft here is not going to bring Thitania to completion this time because of the way we've gone about this. We've still got some details on the base, of course, but that's not really the model. As far as the model itself, we're going to work up the shaft, and then we've got a feather and a crown jewel. So feather, the crown jewel, and then you'll bring Thitania to completion. But first, we're going to work the shaft. And I was going to do all this with some NMM originally, but after we got the NMM work done on the axe blade itself and it turned out so black, I pivoted my intentions, and I think an obsidian blade is so much more appropriate. Really fun. You know, it'd be fragile as heck, but the I don't know, maybe it's a magic weapon. Kind of picture Thitania as a D&D character anyways. I could see this as a fun D&D build. Just this exact character as it is. Not a stupid character, but an individual with an uncontrollable rage and a bad attitude. Maybe not necessarily bad attitude, just uncontrollable rage. How dare you question my choice of clothing? How dare you question my ability to schmooze with the local noble folks? Take an axe to the face. Getting angry like what's her face? Carlock in Baldur's Gate 3 when she like goes rage mode in that building and just smashes everything. Yes, that is exactly how I imagine Thitania behaving from time to time. You know, nice and stable most of the time, but prone to fits of rage. Skull smashing angry instead of mouse smashing angry. Oh, more chat. More chat. Mostly terrible mechs. Yeah, exactly. If I can sell my house this year, I'll commission you to do a drip lance and 1/56 scale of a Clint, a Whitworth, a Scorpion, and Assassin, maybe with some drippy looking pilots from Reaper. You know, Emery, talk to me later in the year about it. Maybe towards the end of the semester when I have more free time. That sounds really fun and something I might be willing to do for a video if you'll cover production costs instead of worrying about a commission. Nathan says, you want mechs with balls, head on over to the Country Fried OnlyFans for the catered carnal content your blessed little heart desired. Jason says there has to be a ball bearing in there. So, oh yeah, technically there's balls. Mercenaries. That one's rough to say. Only decent mech I was able to afford salvage was just the right foot of a, not one of those that gave us such guff in that Hearthstone mix. Yeah, exactly. Emery says, Bard. Thitania taking her tunic off so it won't get blood. Yeah, I mean, it's the equivalent of an excitable, over-aggressive dude taking his shirt off. Who was it that fought in the nude that has the that famous Roman era sculpture, the Dying Gaul? Is that what it is? The Gallic people fighting in the nude, except for like the sculpture has like a collar on, and that's it. I'm pretty sure it's the Dying Gaul. Very cool sculpture. Okay, now this is a tough angle. I don't know if y'all can see, but there's a tiny little edge of these rings that are peeking out under our glove here that we need to get some paint on without touching the glove. And it's right next to a recess. So that recess wants to drink the paint. This is a tough spot. Sometimes you gotta slow down and work those tight angles with a little more precision. We're working with a 1 brush here. It's not the tiniest brush, but it is very sharp with a fat belly. And sometimes the big old brush is just too much. And you want a more finessed approach. Okay. This is a tight angle. I also see, while we're down here, that I have missed the tips of her fingers. So, once I get this beige brown on, which I'm trying to keep it in frame for y'all. It's tough, 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 tight. Tough and tight. It's rough. Alright. I think that's got... We need to get back at the Mornfang Brown, which is not actually the dried out container that I was talking about. Cuculain, bought in the nude. I don't know how you pronounce that, but it looks Gaelic to me. Alright, so we want just a little bit of our Mornfang Brown. Here we go. And we need to get in on the tips of those fingies. Get rid of that pink that's in there. Okay. I think we got a good solid coat here. Solid enough. There's some points where it joins up with the other colors, where it butts up against the other colors that I'm afraid of trying to get too close to. So we'll do a wash eventually that seeks into those crevices. Damn, I think we may be using an oil wash at the very end to do basically some panel lining. So even right there, I just got a little bit of brown on the hair, just the tiniest bit, and that won't do. So we're gonna lift it and lick it and lift it and lick it till it's clean. Yes. All right, got a base coat on the haft. Working that shaft. Where are we sitting at? 2 hours 14 minutes. Can we finish this axe in 45 minutes? I'm gonna give it a go. Choo-choo lane. I like that. And I imagine that you call her Choo-choo lane and you're dead. Because Thitania took off her... Like... Imagine the plight of the bandit that called Thitania Thictania. She strikes me as the type of lass who's aware and proud of her physique, but a little unhinged, and if you call attention to it, she kills you out of embarrassment. Alright, what is our attack here? So I think we may need to work with a smaller brush. Do I have a 3.0? I do. I have a 3.0. This paint, this brush is encrusted. So we're going to get out a little bit of 99% isopropyl alcohol. Florida man crashes cars into burger stands in the nude while eating fried chicken while he waits for police. I find the whole Florida man phenomenon pretty funny. Because it's not actually indicative of people being more insane in Florida as much as that criminal happenings are more publicized in Florida and a matter of public knowledge and record as compared to other locations, which has a side effect of making especially Florida man-like moments be all the more sensationalized. Heck, when did the Florida man thing kind of get traction and really start to be in the public vernacular? Was it the face eating, the bath salts face eating incident? I seem to remember that's about when it entered my lexicon. Okay. This brush is actually borked. The tip is destroyed. And this is a 20.0. It's a little too sharp for my purposes, I think. What's this? This is also a 20.0. I think we're just gonna do it with the 20-0 liner. Let's dump out that alcohol. I figure she just bop a dude in the teeth with the axe handle, not get killy over words. I mean, yeah. Well, roll a personality check and see if the rage overtakes you. Well, howdy, Joseph Cowan. Welcome. Merry Christmas Eve, buddy. Yes, same to you, brother. Long time no see. We're doing a little more work on our pinup model. Trying to get this model done for a New Year's either eve or day release. I might release it at midnight on the 1st and just have it as the first video of the year. We're about what, 12-13 hours into this model, and we're home stretch. Just doing a cheeky little stream here on the holiday day before the holiday. Honestly, it's a gift to myself for this hard candy Christmas this year. I couldn't afford to fly in and see the family, so gonna hang out here on stream tonight, get some work done. Little nod and my Christmas contribution to the Country Fried Minis community. And by my contribution to y'all, I mean your contribution to me, because your viewership makes me happy while I'm painting. Yeah, just getting a little painting done. A little more painting done. Working the shaft on this here Barbarian pinup. I just saw that the undercoat of this beige brown is a little weak. The base coat on the underside of this is weak. So let's clean it up real quick. Okay. Now from here, I think we're probably going to be working this paint for the next half hour-ish. Something like that. So I think I'm going to take a moment to film thinning it down. And we're going to try to apply some fluid retarder to it without screwing up the palette this time. And let's reduce this shutter speed, get out our fluid retarder, get out our... If I use a toothpick, I bet I can precision apply the drops. Florida Man is the comedy side of Southern Rural Gothic, which is a type of xenophobia, but I am not sensitive to regional calumny. I see it as a risque breed of culture rather than a threat. New Year workout goal if you drop at midnight. I'm leaning more towards dropping this at midnight. I think it's fun, and I haven't seen anyone else do that approach that I can think of. Yeah, I think we'll do a midnight release. I'll do it as a premiere as well. Not that I'm actually pushing for people to show up, more so that the biggest reason I do the premieres is that you can post the premiere page to platforms like Discord and it'll have a thumbnail. And if you don't do it as a premiere, you just have the video showing up at the posting time. And when you do that, I can't pre-hype it with a thumbnail. Autocorrect is pretty fourth gate vocabulary limited. Yeah, I think you're right. And it seems difficult to get your own copy of the autocorrect AI to evolve. I've been trying really hard to get a little more Spanish into mine since I do the Duolingo all the time. Well, I say once a day. I've noticed it's starting to. But where are we? Who am I? Am I Cameron? Okay. How's the audio, y'all? I haven't checked it in a while. Everything still fine? I'm gonna turn it on for a second and give it a listen. Yeah. Oh man. I need to update the music a little bit. I did find 4 new Lupus Noctu tracks from this year that I have yet to. I got to transfer them over to this computer and then add them to the list. But yeah, I really, I do likes me the Lupus Noctu music we use here on stream. Okay, so gonna show the camera this 20-0 liner. I'm gonna switch to our tiny brush, and we're gonna start by mixing up a next step down. Oh man, we're gonna take our beige brown, take a whole bunch of it actually, put some right there. I want to put a bunch because I know we're going to use a lot of this color, but I also want to maintain the puddle of the original tone. So there we go. There's an art talking minutes. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of our ivory and mix it in here. Something in that something in that paint water that just got in my mouth tastes really, really bad. What's going on? Let's take a peek at the state of our paint water. Yeah, I just got that in my mouth, y'all. So another side effect of licking your brush. Okay. Trying to make a distinction between cleaning the brush with paint water and when you're licking it. All right, so first and foremost, I see some cracks in the handle that are like sculpted details cracked. Sculpted details that are cracks. So we're gonna butt this new color right up next to it. And make sure to emphasize it first. As our first step here. Y'all probably can't see it on the webcam. I kind of partially regret that we're not painting Thitania in the with the new camera. Builds character, good old paint. Well, yeah, exactly. Oh, and speaking of, I should be using this for paint water, but I drink my coffee out of my, here, let's see here. Let me adjust this so y'all can actually see. Let me pause the video. I am drinking coffee still at this time of night out of my Peganeco paint water mug, which is intended for paint water, but I drink coffee out of mine. Not to shill for Pega stuff, but it's a really, really good art on the mug there. Big recommend. Just a creator I support. All right, where are we at? Getting back out Thitania. I am still recording this whole time. Okay, cool. Let's dial in the focus. Let's get the camera or the light back down. I hope y'all can see decently. I am mostly focused on recording this scene more so than anything. But we're gonna take our color here and we're gonna focus it first on any areas that are gonna get edge highlighted. So we're gonna start developing the framework of that. Going around here and there and everywhere, right next to the scars in the wood and the cracks. Kind of developing a foundation for that GW style edge highlighting, because we're going to use a little bit of that technique as well as giving a mind to the lighting. And we're also going to try to put some wood grain into it. I hope this doesn't end in liver failure. Well, you know, I did quit drinking. I had a problem. And I no longer have a problem. So if it ends in liver failure, it ends in liver failure from drinking so much acrylic paint. So good. This can only end in, I don't remember the rest of the line. You just call it paint water it will be. Well, you know, paint water is brown at times, and I am drinking a brown liquid out of my paint water mug. I just thought it was really funny when she put out the mug. I posted over there. I bragged about my mug and how I didn't use it for its intended purpose. Mild shit posting. Which is the good stuff. Okay, so this model has some really intense, subtle. I guess intense and subtle are mutually exclusive. It's that intense levels of subtle texture in that the axe handle is cracked. So I think what we're gonna do, instead of trying to put a whole bunch of wood grain on it with this layer, we're just gonna really do what we can to emphasize that texture, because it's very light. It's almost not there at all, but I can see it now that I've got this bright light on it. Try to get this in focus, and we want to try to bring it out. I'm gonna try to bring it out with the final results. I want y'all to be able to see it. I think the main end goal of this paint up is I want this model to look good on the macro shots, more so than the standard. I'm not saying my models look bad on macro, but you know, when you're painting models at, you know, human scale, where you're looking at it with your eyes, it looks substantially different from that high definition close-up shots that show all your little blemishes and mistakes. Yeah, it's not the same experience. Okay. So, we're still outlining little details, like there's some nicks in the head. I don't know what you'd call this part of the axe, but the you know, this club end that the axe blade is embedded in. So we're still picking out the sharp edges, but we're also starting to think about the lighting. So again, with our focal area here, the light's kind of coming in this angle. You can see that reflected with this sharp highlight there. Nightbot claims that when mice live in the wild, they typically only live for about 6 months. Yeah, I believe that. Makes sense. You don't have the artificial factor of being protected from predation by living in captivity. But typical doesn't mean universal. All right, so let me think about this again. We've got light coming in this way. So we kind of want our, I'm going to switch to this one brush here. Kind of want our highlights to hit right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of sketch that on anyways. We want almost like a, somewhere between a vertical stripe and an oval of light. So light's hitting here, And as it goes up this way, it's getting more into shadow. And as it goes down this way, it's getting more into shadow. So we kind of want, again, an oval shape. And this, because it's like the main highlight, this can be just a broad area of color, because we're going to highlight over it later. But we're going to try to use this color to develop the first bit of tonal shift towards highlight, as well as the darkest bits of wood grain, which we'll get to after the highlight stuff. All right, back to the 20-0 liner, and we're gonna put a sharp GW edge highlight foundation right here. GW style edge highlight. We're gonna do these strokes of paint. So it's not really the same as feathering here, because we want distinct lines in our application. We're going to be trying to develop a wood grain. And yeah, it's looking decent already. Now this color is really subtle, so it's not perfect. It's not going to develop our wood grain alone, but as we put the other layers on, I think you'll see it comes out and comes forward. Ooh, it's a tough angle, and I'm shaking like mad, which is, standard for me. I have shaky hands. Haft is the technical term. Yes, it is an axe haft, but it is also a shaft, because we're working the shaft for the joke, of course. This whole project has been a ruse to get thirsty clicks. Will this become a thirsty channel of painting pinups? Maybe 10%. I still want to stay to my roots of battletech. And, I mean, technically, the channel was not founded in battletech. The first project was a DCC party. Which all of those videos have very low quality audio and production and are no longer a part of the public offering of channels. They still exist. So if you have the links, you can still watch them. And I will occasionally drip them out for people to see how far the channel has come. But officially, the first video on the channel publicly is the Bad Models and Good Games Painting a Battletech Lance Part 1, which was the first real successful video. And then after that, we did a few videos until we got up to Big Irby, which cemented this channel as Battletech. I need to remove that. Let's get some bananas in you, clear up them shakes. Oh, potassium. Man, I ain't had a banana in a hot minute. I kind of really want a banana now. I should have went to the store. Today, because nothing will be open tomorrow. Which is fine. I'm actually I'm thinking tomorrow is going to be a exercise in humility and appreciation tomorrow. Appreciation of what you got. Kind of weird doing this Christmas thing far from family. I think tonight's my Christmas. I'll be making some more Beyond Burgers after this, eating well, drinking some bubble water, celebrating with y'all, shit posting in the Discord. And tomorrow, I think I'm gonna fast. Fasting for Christmas. Really appreciate the hard candy Christmas as brought on by my financial situation this year, and reflect upon a fun and fantastic year of good stuff and good tidings. Is that sad? Is it cringe? I don't intend it that way. Anyhow, we're working around our beige brown and ivory mix, and we're gonna focus on both edge highlighting where we can and a little bit of wood grain effects. You probably can't see that on stream, but a bunch of vertical strokes right here. I think we'll do 2 layers of highlights on the shadow side, and then we'll do maybe 4 layers on the side in the light. Maybe a bit melodramatic. Yeah. All right, gotta go. Merry Christmas. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Joseph. Well appreciated, good sir. Say, individual from my IRL showing up. Well, IRL acquaintances, I should say. Not to put business out there. I don't think I'm doxing. Yeah. Merry Christmas indeed. Alright, so here I don't think there's as much texture indicating cracked and splintered wood, but this is where the axe half broke before, so we're just going to use that break as if it were a detail in the sculpt and highlight up those edges of the break. It looks good. It continues the aesthetic of the well-worn shaft. Coming along. You know, it's remarkable how much difference I can already see with this highlight tone. At least IRL. You're probably, you know, the fidelity of the webcam isn't super great, so you're probably not getting the best view of it there. Seeing those subtle shifts in variation. But we'll do a couple layers of it and make it look really nice. Okay, back to the 20-0 from the 1, and we're going to go back in and try to thread the needle here. Give a little tappy-do of color. I think what we're going for on these carved rings is just to treat them like solid color, like really like they're worn smooth, instead of trying to continue the wood grain. I don't think there's enough vertical latitude to stretch out the wood grain effect and have it look any kind of meaningful. So we're gonna treat them as smooth rings and highlight them as if they were just without any texture, which the sculpt doesn't have any texture on them. And we're back to our one brush now. Pick out again. There's some cracks, some very, very soft details of cracks in the axe handle. I'm gonna try to pick those out. And really, this color's covering most all of the surface. We're just gonna try to leave some little gaps of the beige brown base color showing. I left a little bit too much of a gap right there. So we're switching back to the beige brown. Trying to cut that in. I gotta tell y'all, this is very, very nerve-wracking. Jason says, we'll likely be on later tomorrow night. Well, late for me, probably even for you. We'll most likely be gaming of that. I'll be around. No pressure, though. No pressure to any of y'all. Please enjoy your holidays. If you elect to spend any time hanging out, I'm more than honored by that. But please enjoy the holidays. There will be more Country Fried Mayhem in the future. Fun stuff coming out for New Year, for the start of the year. I'm gonna try to have a video out in the first week as well. Doing a little project working with Flying Monkey Studios. He paints up a lot of Reaper models. That's where I got the. That's where our dragon lady comes from. The dragon summoner. I'm gonna try to have that out in the first year, or first week of the year. Learning the lessons from working on the Octavia video. Having learned the lessons of working on the Octavia video in a frantic fashion, I'm thinking that it will do to spread out these projects over multiple days. And stick to the grind. Produce more content. Get that algorithmic traction, At least it's what I'm aiming for. I think 2 months between videos is far too long. I'm gonna try to hit a sweet spot. Ideally, I'd like to have a video out like every 2 to 3 weeks. Keep that content flowing for y'all. Plus, I'm several videos ahead in footage, honestly. Let's see, I've got footage for the Urban Mech Lance. I've got footage for the first Orloff Grenadiers paint up. I've got footage for Moriarty, this little lad. Which I think this guy, if more people had jumped in on that contest, I would have had a full-length video about it. But I think that's going to be our first 10-minute miniature video. And kind of test the waters with that concept. I think I've mentioned it before on stream that I want to do a regular occurrence of the 10-minute miniature videos going forward, where we do less of a fully, like a full production, like the 30-minute contents with the whole subtext and the subplot and whatnot. Instead, just focusing on a single model and just the matter-of-fact painting and what went into it, and do the whole thing in 10 minutes. Exactly 10 minutes. Not a second more, not a second less. I think it'll be really fun. And I'm anxious to see how that will affect the analytics. I keep hearing that, like, globally, people across YouTube don't really have the attention span for the long form content, but like, Country Fried Minis is long form content, y'all. Workflow streams 4 nights a week. You're maybe not far off from that. I wasn't intent to be an everyday streamer, but my next semester looks to be pretty clear for more streaming, and especially if I stay tight to the whole the time limit thing. You know, call the stream at 3 hours, regardless of where we're at. That's easy. Easy enough to sit down and do 3 hours of painting. Yeah. Plus, I guess I kind of feel like streaming too much makes each individual stream less impactful, but helps to build a regular event that folks can count on, and maybe even relieves a bit of the pressure that the regular audience would feel in wanting to show up. Like, if you miss a stream, whatever, there'll be another one in the next couple of days. But also, because there's so many streams available, the algorithm can work to push it to more people. I gotta admit, I'm loving the streaming. It's really fun and easy to do, and it's helping me to stay more productive, get locked in, get shit done, which is awesome. That's the best part, y'all. Okay, there's some thin coverage on our base tone here that I'm having to deepen here and there on the tip of this cap, this end cap or whatever. All right. By the time I get on, we'll have plenty of family time. Law will absolutely be chill time. Oh yeah, that makes sense. My family actually does like usually does a breakfast thing for Christmas, and they show up and they get it done, and then that's it, and everybody can like spend the rest of the evening relaxing, checking out their new stuff, recovering from the food coma that the massive brunch put them in. I kind of like the idea of an early day for Christmas. Plus, my dad always makes pancakes, which is such a simple food, but man, hot pancakes for breakfast, yummy, so good. And my mom figured out some good recipes for me as a veggie guy. She worked out how to do really good biscuits that are dairy free, which is always awesome. It's been a while though. It's been I guess 2 years now since I've been to a family Christmas. I think it was 2 years. I know this year I couldn't afford it. Money got really tight this semester, and I had to do a major repair to the car. My car had, what was it? So I was having some idling issues, and I took it into my mechanic, and he found that the biggest issue I was having was that the tensioner arm for my serpentine belt was like literally about to fall off. So he replaced that, but while he was in there checking out the car, the brake system was failing, and I had to basically get it completely replaced. I was expecting like a $500 repair on the car, and it turned out to be like $1,700. And that expense was necessary and precluded Christmas. And that was last year. Yeah. And then this year, I've been slowly like bouncing back from that major expense, and I'm a student, so you know, unless I've been very careful for a year and lived on beans and rice and ramen, money's tight. Money's really tight living on that budget. It says we're doing morning gifts and a big lunch with my folks and a dinner with my D&D friends. Oh, that's awesome. I am a big fan of Friendsmas. Big fan of Friendsmas. Used to do one with some roommates some years back in the city. It's a good time. I often find that Friendsmas feels a little better than family events too, because it just, I don't know, it's a little more genuine and heartfelt, because you don't have the like the familial pressure of obligate gifting. Not to diminish holiday with the family. It's not my intention there with that statement. Okay, so we're putting broad bands of wood grain onto this shaft. Now we're going to work the tip, and it's got some details on it that, I mean, it very obviously is meant to be a like a hammered metal cap on the end of the haft here, on the end of the shaft. But I'm gonna paint it up like rough carving. I think it's fun. So again, with a nod to that like GW method, we're building a foundation of edge highlights here. But then we're also putting a broad area color on top, because we're thinking about the way the light is going to hit this axe shaft. In fact, while I'm on that train of thinking, I'm going to put some broad areas of this highlight color coming down the top of this handle. It's cylindrical, and the light's kind of coming in this way anyways. I guess it should be more to the side than the top now that I'm thinking about it. Whatever, it's fine. Excuse me. Had an involuntary coffee burps into the mic. Emery says, I unfortunately survived my parents, so Christmas is 75% lonely times now, but I have distractions of work, so not too bad. Well, that's hard to hear a little bit. I'm glad that you're able to find good moments in your holiday, though. I think it's well, to touch back on the melodrama earlier about the hard candy Christmas and embracing humble pie, I think it's an important skill set to have the occasional hard holiday. It really helps to bring you into the spirit, and learn to find happiness in those small moments. Worst part is not doing the prep and such like in prior years, just an emptiness there. But I brought a little prime rib roast for tomorrow to have something. Yeah, see, like that's a great silver lining for it. So, sorry for your loss and your lack of familial Christmas, but it sounds like you've got a happy happy little Christmas plan for yourself, and that is really awesome. Cheers to your prime rib roast. Again, I'm doing my my holiday dinner tonight with I got some Beyond Burgers, got a bag of Doritos. I'm about to eat well. Got some bubble water. It's not holiday themed, but it's like, it's what I want to eat. It's what I crave. It's what you crave? That was Idiocracy? What's it called? Brondo? It's got electrolytes. It's what you crave. Why is that standing out in my brain? Okay, so we've just finished our beige brown, and we finished our beige brown ivory mix. We're moving on to the next layer. How far in are we? We're sitting at, you know what? Brondo, yeah. I think I'm gonna push it. Another half hour. Because we're 2 minutes off of 3 hours, and I really don't want to get in the habit of streaming for these like 3.5 for like 4 and 5 hour events. I think it's a little much. But I do see it's what plants crave. Yes, I see a really fat turnout of 10 people at this moment. So let's at least put one more layer of work on this shaft here. Work in a little more ivory. Also, I want to take a moment to thank all of y'all folks who have showed up on this holiday day before the holiday stream to hang out and spend some time with me here on the channel. I'm super appreciative of your time, and I hope to have this Thitania model done between tonight and tomorrow, working a little bit on Christmas itself. We're gonna do some more workflow streams, working up Thitania in video format, and then we'll have a release. The more I'm sitting here thinking about it, we're gonna do that New Year's thing. We're gonna drop this video 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right at midnight, right as the clock drops. First video of the new year. Unfortunately, that's going to be a bad time for y'all who have East Coast times, so you'll have to catch it afterwards. But yeah, we're going to get Thitania out. We're going to start this new year here on Country Fried Minis off right with an essay on pinups and why you should paint one, and why it's okay to own models in your collection made for the male gaze. I'm really looking forward to it. She's been a long time promise, since like what, March or something? Salting here, like water from a toilet. Yeah, 3 a.m. for y'all. It'll be late. I mean, I could do it for, I could drop it at midnight premiere for East Coast, but I think it's more, it's for me. The time it's for me. You know, I want it my time. So I'm gonna do that. Plus, you know, y'all are gonna be busy having fun and partying. It's New Year's after all. Okay, so we've now mixed a little more ivory into our previous mix of the beige brown ivory. And I realized, I'm realizing now that I actually forgot a little bit. I forgot a little bit of color on the underside of this here axe thingamabob. So I'm going to mix back that last color we were using. Mix back that last color and then fill in what I just missed. And adjust my shutter speed. I left out a little bit of highlighting. Ooh, that's too bright. Too bright. Too bright. Bright light. Bright light. That's still too bright. Still too bright. Still too bright. There we go. All right, there we go. I left out a highlight on the underside. Legally bees or fish, yeah. Now you do you, man. I'll be their sleeper gaming while. Never been much of a party guy. That's fair. I recall being a drinker and enjoying a good New Year's party. I did one really awesome year of drinking up at the Orbit Room on Market Street in San Francisco a few years back. It was a good time. I got really drunk though. I had a problem, y'all. I was a problem drinker. I never could moderate my intake, and I'd get just like wasted. So yeah. The end of drinking for me was that at the time I was working towards becoming a full-time tattooer, and I woke up one Christmas after all the partying and drinking, and I was shaking really bad. I had alcohol shakes, and I could see my budding tattoo career, funny in hindsight, dying before my eyes. Just like it was going away. There's no way that I was gonna take that career path with such shaky hands. And I told myself that year that I was gonna quit drinking for the new year. And on New Year's, my plan was to drink so much I'd never want to drink again. And I couldn't physically reach that point. I drank all night into the morning. And well, that said, as a big believer in the use of a ritual and the power of "'cause I said so," I quit right there on the spot that next day. Not to say that as a bragging element, just stating it matter-of-factly. It's remarkable to me that there's such a capability as a human being to put your mind to something and get it done and make it so, as Picard would say. It took about a year, probably like 6 months really, till I was comfortable around folks drinking, and now it don't bother me in the least. Don't get me wrong, I miss the occasional bitter beer, but I know if I ever let myself drink again, 11 beers would follow that beer. Emery says, kind of want to watch the Charlie Brown special. I haven't seen that in years. I might do the same. I might do the very same. I'm sure it's readily available online. Linus drives out all division of despair and heals the sick in a heart in a world of blue metal Christmas trees. Yeah. That sounds good. That sounds really wholesome. I never really got into the Christmassy season stuff. I was like, that's lame. Maybe this is the year to appreciate it. Get in the spirit. Just watched Muppet Christmas Carol with my kids earlier. Good time. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, that sounds awesome. Alright, so we've taken this color a step up from the last, and we're developing an edge highlight with it, but we're also streaking it down to really reinforce that feel of wood grain. Just trying trying to get little streaks of color without them being too big. Here and there. Kind of keeping them light and targeted to the area where that highlight, that oval shaped highlight we put on earlier would be. Less is more in this approach. And then for here, for this like carved whorl in the wood here, I'm gonna do nice crisp edge highlight there. Pull that edge up. There we go. And again, we're kind of focusing this highlight within that oval we drew on the last step. I think in my paint's actually a little too thick for this. I'm gonna mix in a little water. Do a little bit of more of that wood grainy stuff. There we go. Yeah, let's put this on pause. I need a little more water in that paint. It's not flowing super well, which is another problem that can happen from using this 20-0 brush. Story as old as 1965. Yeah, well, it's past midnight here on the East Coast. Merry Christmas from the future. Hell yes. We're in multiple time zones here, like magic. We live in the future with instant communication. All right, so I don't want a whole drop in that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my pipette and I'm going to saturate the end of this brush and wick off just a bit, and then we're going to use that brush to stir our paint so it's a little less than a drop. And that's going to reduce the coverage of the paint a bit, but it's going to make it flow a little smoother. Alright. Let's get this here. Just realized I'm not wearing my apron. And I just got acutely concerned about getting paint on my shirt. Okay. Yeah, immediately. Much better. So when you're working with this tiny brushes like this that don't have a fat belly, and you find that your paint's not flowing smooth, thin it out a little past what you'd normally use. And what you lose in coverage, you'll gain in flow. Immediately much better. Yeah. Just night and day difference. I'm gonna highlight the bottom edges of these scars. And we're gonna do something similar here on our wood grain. Just try to follow what we did before, but be a little sharper and cleaner about it, and really accentuate the cracks and crevices. Develop shadows where we can. In the broad areas that don't have cracked details, we'll put in a little wood grain. Just tiny little scratches of paint. Little scratches of paint. Little subtle marks. Go. Like this is a broad area between two crevices, so we're gonna put in an extra little streak to imitate wood grain. And, you know, you're not doing this and you don't want to do this in a way that you're just tracing on wood grain over the whole thing. You want to sell the idea. more so than paint it explicitly. It's like the whole discussion about the painting fire backwards. Right, like fire gets darker as it gets to the tip, IRL, but it doesn't really read well in a miniature if you do it that way. So you do it backwards, and your mind puts two and two together and makes it read as what you're intending. And that's a lot more effective than trying to paint super realistic. Not to dismiss super realistic paint-ups. Just saying, selling the idea is a lot easier to achieve at a lower level than it is to try and paint exquisite photorealism. Okay. Now, on this back end of the axe that is all in shadow, we're going to be real careful about the highlight application here, because this will be the end of the highlights on the back end. It needs to be in shadow. We want some contrast compared to the other end. So I'm going to try to put some nice clean wood grain effects with this new color on, and a nice clean edge highlight. And I mean, that's it. 2 layers. The back end is in shadow. We don't want to take it through all the layers of highlighting and have it as bright as the front, because it doesn't make sense. It's not in the direct sunlight. But we do want enough detail painting here to sell the wood grain. So GW style edge highlighting and an accenting of the wood grain. You know, I'm sure that's not reading at all to y'all, which sucks, but hey, HD pictures of this model over on the Country Fried Minis Discord. Progress to this model has been being posted in the Not the Kids Table channel, which is where you're safe to share pictures of pinups and NSFW models, whatever, you know, the stuff you wouldn't necessarily want to put out in a very public forum, but it's a safe space for sharing those. So if you're not a member of the Country Fried Minis Discord, make sure to check it out. Whether you're looking through the, whether you're looking for a link, whether you're looking in the chat replay for a link to the Discord or the description down below, there can be a link to be found. And if you still can't find one, check out our website at countryfriedminis.com, where you can find links to everything, including our my Fiverr page, where you can get commissions done by me, a calendar which shows the mostly accurate stream schedule, a link to the Patreon if you want to show support, as well as updates from the workbench from time to time. The CFM website is kind of like a Patreon Lite, if you will, for updates. So patrons will get the best updates, but you can get some of that stuff for free over at countryfriedminis.com. Check it out. Another Nate says, same for fur, no animal has lighter hair on the outside. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't make sense for realism, but like it makes sense for painting, because you're painting, when painting at scale, you're tricking the viewer to perceive what the sun does and natural lighting does automatically at a smaller scale. So the smaller the scale of the object, the more you have to force it. So we dry brush our fur. And it looks like the highlights are being formed by natural lighting. I can't remember who put it to me this way, but like, imagine a space marine, like a proper GW space marine, but it's 1-to-1 scale. 9 feet tall or whatever. If you had that space marine statue that's 9 feet tall, you could just paint it red, and the sun is going to do all the highlighting and the shading for you, the natural lighting. But the smaller and smaller you make that model, the more you have to force those areas of light, just because you can't perceive the subtle variations of light. Which, of course, is another reason I recommend these big scale pinups. I think I'm doing Thitania here in a 1/75th scale? Or not 1/75th, 75 millimeter scale. Sorry, I conflated the two. They're not the same. 75 millimeter is big. And it's a beautiful thing to work in, a beautiful scale to work in that you can apply all those fun techniques you've picked up in painting 28 millimeter models, and you don't have to try as hard to get the same results because it's a bigger scale, and you don't have to force the highlights so much. Man, this axe is coming along swimmingly, though I tell you, I'm feeling the fatigue. I'm feeling the fatigue of my steel chair. I'm feeling the hoarseness in my voice. I'm talking 3 hours straight. I'm feeling those Beyond Burgers in my fridge calling my name to go in the kitchen and start frying up a nice, juicy pair of sandwiches for the evening. So I think we're actually going to finish this layer and call it for tonight for this Crimsbus stream on the holiday day before the holiday. Yes, holiday day before the holiday. Except for some of y'all, it's Christmas now. So, anyhow, I think we got some good work in. Once again, this project just like keeps being more work than I'm expecting. But I think Thitania will be done in another 3 hours worth of work. She'll be looking good. We still need to do 1 or 2 more layers over the axe, which is going to take a couple hours. I'm not about to sit here and subject y'all to another 2 hours tonight. I'm going to let y'all get to your holidays. I'm going to glaze some purple over this black and make that look like a Minecraft style obsidian, which I think will tie into the purple and the blue we use for the shades. I'm going to do a green feather and a green gem. I'm going to mix up another layer of glaze for the rocks here and smooth those out a little more. We got the skulls, and this is a very involved project. So also you need a very tiny spotlight to accurately illuminate a minute. Yeah, exactly. I think that is very true. 75 millimeters, about 1/24th scale. Oof. So is that my next upscaled battletech project? 1/24th scale. What size was the hunchback? I can't remember. 148? Was it 148? So I'd need a 2-foot. Yeah, I'd need a 2-foot wide hex base for a 1/24th scale mech. Yeah, I'll be thinking about it. Anyhow, I think we made good progress. I think this has been fun. I'm really pleased that y'all thought me worthy of your time here on this Christmas Eve, and I'm most humbly appreciative. It's really awesome. The community is fantastic. So, if you're not a member of the Discord already, come on over, check it out, join up, join the community. Really, really fine folks over here. If you want to support the channel, if you like what you see here and you like the content, consider joining up as a channel member for as little as $1 a month. You can get a fun little badge next to your name, as well as access to biscuit-based emojis and priority consideration in streamed events, as well as ad-free videos once we start putting ads in, if I put ads in. If that's not enough support for you, you can support in a more substantial fashion by joining up on the Patreon. I believe there's a link down below. If not, check it out at countryfriedminis.com. Of course, the best thing you can do to support the channel is just to watch and toss a like every now and then, and or comment. It helps the channel to grow via the algorithm. The Hunchback was 148. Yes, thank you, Jason. Nathan says the views have definitely been going up. Yes, we're growing. The channel's getting bigger. I like it. I think that I see a future in which this can be a full-time undertaking for me, and I am aiming for that. I'm hoping to be able to do this full-time and focus directly on this to bring y'all content and do fun stuff and you know, do community polls and generate content that is based on what y'all want to see. In any case, I've been Cameron on behalf of Country Fried Minis. This here is the Bullshit Corner 2.0. 2.0 because the first one got destroyed in a flood and they had to rebuild my apartment. But this has been a blast. Once again, super humbly thankful that y'all have deemed this little corner worthy of your views here on this Christmas Eve. I hope y'all are having a fantastic holiday and that everything is going smooth for you. And I'll catch y'all around for the next one. In any case, I'm signing off. Lots of love and happy Christmas. See y'all later. Bye-bye.